rolling stock. From this box alone, you can tell that I own a fair bit of rolling stock spanning from different ages to different makes and all sorts of different eras. I got relatively modern stuff, I got stuff that dates back to Triang, and I have the odd piece here and there that's actually way older. This here is the most expensive piece of rolling stock that I own. Excluding coaches. Coaches are a completely different kettle of fish. But this is the most expensive wagon that I own. It was a dapple kit, and I put the stripe on the wrong side. It's supposed to be on the tipper end. I paid 10 quid for the kit, and this is what I got. And I think it's important to show what I bought new, so I can show you what I've bought second hand. I paid 10 quid for this guy, I paid 5 for this, and 7 for this one. All these are the same type of wagon. They're all VR open mineral wagons with tipper ends. This dates back to the 70s, I believe. This guy also dates to around the 70s or 80s, and this is within the last 20 years. These go for 20 quid new, can't get these new, 10 quid. Well, because I bought this guy new, we need a referee for the second-hand market. Yeah, it's pretty poor, it's a really poor example for the second-hand, but it's the cheapest one I've ever found. I paid 2 quid for this. It needs buffers this end, I have changed the wheels, and it needs couplings and a paint job. For 2 quid is a fucking steal. Yes, I know it needs work, but these are the golden, shining example of what a good mineral wagon actually is. It's got all the detail, it's relatively inexpensive, and they're reliable. I think reliability is something that really can determine how good a piece of rolling stock is. And you gotta consider, these are ancient. Why do I consider these to be so good? Well, it's because I have personal experience with these. One of the layouts the club operates, we have 2 lots of these. We have 15 empties, 15 full, and we'll run them in massive rakes as part of one of our exhibition layouts. And they're fine. We have problems with one set of points, but it's not these wagons which cause it. You can get these wagons under all sorts of different makes. I'm not certain if Rosebud made them. I know you can definitely get them as Airfix, because this is an Airfix one. So it's right there in the bottom, I can't tell if you can see that. But this is an Airfix one from presumably the 80s, and it still uses the same tooling until today. I will admit the Airfix one is slightly nicer. They go together slightly better because the toolings are still relatively new at the time. This was a little bit of a headache because everything's all sort of warped a little with age, but it's fine. You know, 10 quid can't go wrong. You usually find them for cheaper though. This would be what I consider the modern standard. If that's what I consider to be the standard period, this is what I consider a modern wagon should be living up to. This is a Bachmann open wagon, and you can see underneath metal wheels, nice underframe detailing. It's got an end pocket either end. People want 20 quid. Well, I believe they want 20 quid for these brand new. I do not agree with that. What I think makes great rolling stock is something that blends into your train, looks reliable, and is relatively cheap. Because if I need a rake of, I don't know, 20 of these, if I'm paying 20 quid a piece, that is easily going to work its way up to 400 quid. If I can pick these up for 5 quid at a train show, why wouldn't I? Yes, all of them won't be perfect. This is a brilliant example of how I found one. It's missing the brake rigging on one side and buffer here. But the thing is, this has been running in my videos as part of the running sessions, and no one's ever spotted it. 5 feet away, you won't notice this is missing because it's just running past as part of a contest. You don't notice this wagon because it just blends in. And granted, yes, I have weathered these to various degrees of success, but they all blend together. This is what they're supposed to do. They're not supposed to stand out. They're supposed to be generic wagons that blend into the background, blend into your train. Here I got 2 cattle vans. That's a mainline one, and this is a Bachmann one. And I believe I paid 5 quid for this one, 3 quid for this. But I got this for 3 quid on this amazing, unbelievable deal. You know, I found this boxed in someone's bin of old like railway stuff they were selling, and they just didn't realize they didn't increase the price. And the guy was, you know, he was really nice about the whole thing. He just said, just take it instead of dealing with the faff of repricing it. So, you know, absolute steal. But other ones he had were 10 quid, so we'll say for argument's sake 10 quid, and they're the exact same tooling. Not a single thing's changed. The mainline one actually has metal wheels and better couplings if you ask me, but if the only thing that's changed is the brand, why would I pay it, I don't know, 5 extra quid for it to say Bachmann? Something I think that is really underrated is actually mainline rolling stock, because a lot of it got incorporated into the Bachmann range, and a lot of it's still made today. Instead of buying new Bachmann stuff, I just say look for second-hand mainline stuff, because it's still really good quality. There's the odd gem from the mainline that's a bit funkier, I want to say. I don't know if that's the right word, but this is a much older mainline one. I'd imagine This guy would be just before they got rebranded the Bachmann, but this is a much earlier one. And it has nice little touches. Have I glued these doors? I think I've glued these doors. A nice feature about a lot of the old mainline rolling stock is stuff like the doors can open. It's not a big deal, but it's a nice little touch. Granted, yes, it does make the van a little uglier with this bit of plastic here coming out. It's not the most realistic thing in the world. But, again, as long as it blends into your train, it doesn't really matter. I know some people really like to get their accuracy right, so I get it, you know, trying to get all BR stuff from the Midland region or something like that for their, I don't know, 20-foot exhibition train. So, in that case, it makes a bit more sense why you'd pick out certain rolling stock. But again, if you want a big train, don't be greedy. Don't go for new stuff. Get second hand. This guy is a brilliant example of that because yes, it is an old wagon. It is a very old wagon. It's a bit of a freak with the fact that the door's open, but that makes it useful. You can use it for more than just your trains. You can have it in a siding or by a platform with the door open and parcels coming in and out. Old Triang utility vans do a similar thing with their doors open, and they're really useful. Not as a piece of running rolling stock, because the old wheels on them can be really bad, but as a display piece, just having the doors open, parcels coming in and out, stuff like that is what they're really good for. And I think these fall into that same category of usefulness. I think these are really underrated, and I really do hope the price of these stay low. I know that on eBay prices are a bit hunky-dory for rolling stock, but a train shows is the place you really want to go. Looking through the rummage bins on the floor, they're the best place to get cheap rolling stock from. That's where I've got most of my rolling stock for this video from. Last year I got lucky enough to go to the NEC free of charge. It was awesome running a layout there, but I got the luxury of being able to go, and they had rummage bins. I believe I got these four from Ellis Clark. I'm not certain, but I believe these 4 wagons here cost me 10 quid, and they're all relatively modern. Yes, I know this is the mainline one. Yes, this is a Bachmann one with a poorly repainted roof, but they're 10 quid. That is a Dapple Loco Ash, and it's probably the worst one of the lot, if I'm being honest. I have terrible reliability issues with this, but again, I can use it for other stuff other than running in a train. I can get it to run that every now and then, but it's a bit iffy. I can get this to work though. The Dapple Fish Van, you know, these aren't cheap pieces of rolling stock. These go for serious money, new, and second hand on eBay. You know, I could have sold the 4 of these and easily quadrupled my money, but my point stands. If you want good rolling stock, nice high-end stuff, you don't have to buy new. You can buy secondhand, but if you're gonna buy secondhand, don't buy it from a retailer. Don't buy it from some random person on eBay. Go to a train show and just rummage through people's bins. People put stuff there without realizing what they actually have done. Like the other cattle van I got for 3 quid. You know, this is a bargain for 3 quid. Something that's relatively common to find in the rummage bins is Triang stuff. This is a Triang insulated fish van, and it did not look like this when I got it. Yes, it was the white fish vans. Yes, it had this printing on it, but it looked like a toy. And granted, yes, it still doesn't look terribly realistic, but it looks good enough to blend into my train. I run this at open days at my club, and no one points it out that this is a Triang van, because it does its job so well. It blends in. It's been lightly weathered to blend in with the rest of the rake. It's got the odd plank here and here picked out, so yes, it does get the odd occasional point of it, but not because it's old, because it has little extra details added to it. And yeah, I know it's not this amazing, whoa, it's gonna blow your mind sort of thing. Any serious modeler will look at it and go, that's old. But it doesn't ruin the train, because it just does its job of blending in. This is probably the most modern piece of rolling stock I have. It's a Dapple milk tanker, and I love it. I really do love it. I don't love the prices for these new, but again, I didn't pay a new price. I paid second hand, and it rewarded me quite handsomely. I think I paid 4 quid for it, and these go for 20 quid at least. Fine, yes, underneath it doesn't have the best detailing, but why should I care if it's detailed underneath? I'm never ever gonna see it running like this. It hits all the other criteria that I think a wagon should do. It is reliable. It doesn't let me down when I run it. It's got a decent weight so it can at least handle itself over points, and it stands out while also blending in at the same time because of the light weathering it's been given. You don't need to spend crazy money on rolling stock. You can just spend a couple of quid here and there at train shows, and you'll build up a rig really quick. Most of the rolling stock that I'm going to show later on is from train shows that I've attended in the last year. There's the odd van here and there that's old, but for the most part, a lot of it is just what I've gathered in a year. So I think enough of me just ranting about wagons, as much as I love them. I think it'd be better if I show you just some stuff running, to give you an example of what I think good rolling stock actually is. And you will notice a lot of old wagons in there. All the stuff I've shown earlier, that's all in my rake. That's in my current circulation of wagons that I use. So let's go see some running. I've shown some good wagons running. I figured I best will show some bad ones. Not running. I don't want to run any of these wagons because they're a nightmare to deal with. But this is a low thing to hit at. But the Hornby Lomax, they start off as an Airfix item and they are terrible. I got this one as part of a train set. It looks fine, you know, I can chuck it in a siding, but I don't run it because it's a bad wagon. It looks great, but it just derails too much for me to go, I'll use it. It's just too bad. I don't like running it because it doesn't run properly. The other two examples of bad rolling stock I have are Triang wagons. And the only reason these are here is mainly because it's a bit hard to get away with the detail on these. They just are too simple. When you compare these two here, I can't get away with this. The detail in between the planks isn't there for me to try and use. It's just too simple and flat. I know Hornby used these for quite a while, but even on these you can barely tell that there's plank in there. They look relatively flat. I don't think these are good wagons because they don't blend into a train. You put them there, you can obviously pick them out as relatively toy grade-ish. And that later Hornby one, I can say, fine, I'll run it every now and then. And maybe it would look way better with a weathering job. But I can't say the same about this. I don't run this period because of the chassis on it. It's got the old style Triang wheels and the old style couplings. And fine, I can just about get away with the couplings, it's not the end of the world. But the wheels are too bad for me to really go, right, I'll do something with it. Because they're too coarse. They jump off the track every time, there's no real weight to it. It's just a bad wagon overall. And fine, yes, if I put time and effort into it, I can get it to be a good one. But why would I spend good few quid on a chassis when I can always just get a far superior cattle wagon for about the same price? It doesn't make sense for me to go out of my way to get this guy all done up, all nice, when for the same price I can get one of these second hand. Same goes for this guy. It's fine, I guess, but the detail isn't there, and the chassis is the problem again. This one is a bit different because it has like these weird play features where you can dump everything out, but we'll look past that. It's got the same problem, the wheels, the couplings, and the detail isn't there for me to justify. I know the original tooling is of similar age, but it just looks better. I guess the main thing I'm trying to say is just go rummage through some bins and look for cheap rolling stock. If you're going to go look after trying stuff, go for something with the plastic chassis. These wheels won't be in there, they're much later editions I've put in. Usually they'd have these sort of wheels here, and they're fine. You can just about get away with them on modern Hornby stuff, or Pico 100, but you know, you can change them relatively easily. Okay, that's cracked. You can change them relatively easily. They just pop out and you put them on wheels straight in. But like I said, you can get away with these just about, so I'm not too bothered. Anyway, that's all I got for you this week. I hope you enjoyed listening to me rant about rolling stock. I'd like to do a separate video on wagon loads and why I think they're so important to have. You know, it's something I really wish I mentioned, but I've come to the end now. I think it'd be better if I do it as like its own separate thing and show me making some, not coal. These aren't good. But show me making some rolling stock, show me making some wagon loads. I think that'd be a fun video. So this is all I got for you this week. I really do hope you enjoyed listening to me rant about this, and I upload every single Saturday. So bye bye now.